Aliens are invading!
Well, it is July.
Oh, 2020 sucks. Quick, to the exposition device!
We recommend bringing back a time traveler from the future.
Well, that sounds totally logical.
Wait, where am I?
Studio 3, and it's July 2020.
2020 July? Why would you bring me back to here? Avalanche!
Tetsuo! Ganida!
Oni-chan?
It's over 9,000! Nani?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
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 Kawaii-Fi Radio!
Konnichiwa, and welcome to Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast where we look into the world of anime and manga. I'm Kyle, and joining me my co-host Kenny and Loz. Yes, we've roped in another unsuspecting victim to the team.
Yes, we brought this one fresh from the future, December 2020.
Oh no! I didn't want to come back here. Do you guys still have murder hornets?
Yes.
Yeah, they're a thing. I think they're still a thing. How's December?
Well, we don't longer have toilets. Do you still have those?
Yeah.
Ah,
What
okay.
happens?
All anime is now only CG, nothing else. So.
Oh, well, good CG or idle CG?
No, my friend. The idol CG.
Oh, no.
2020 sucks.
But yes, welcome on board, Laura.
Thank
we
you.
do have, obviously, a much larger team coming to you. We've got two more people to introduce you to the team in the coming weeks as well. We've expanded to 6 of us, so there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out of Kawaii-Fi in the future.
It means we can kind of rotate our team members and give people a break, enough time to actually watch the anime that we've been missing.
Yeah, well, at the moment, Dee is currently getting ready to, well, she's moved house and now starting uni, so
exciting.
yeah, it's keeping her busy, which means we get lovely Laura this week. Hi. Good old Loz. Now, Loz, give us a bit of a background. What sort of stuff do you like anime-wise?
Honestly, I'm a wild jack of all trades when it comes to my anime taste. I remember thinking about what are my top 5 shows, and I was like, I don't know, Code Geass, Berserk, maybe Fruits Basket, and maybe I don't know, Princess Tutu. I'm like, what is that combination of things? It's so wild. So yeah, I watch
All I'm imagining
genres.
is Princess Tutu, but with the berserks.
Yeah.
The gut sword, and then Ahiru's there in a Princess Tutu outfit, but then it's a romance drama. What's happening?
Then throw in a good splash of idol for,
Sure, why not?
just to make it great.
Oh.
But all the idol songs are sung by the cast of Berserk.
And there's zombies.
You're really keen on this Berserk crossover, aren't you, Kenny?
Heaps totally. I want to see this now.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, on the note of something that we have actually been watching, let's talk about Brand New Animal.
Yes.
Now, Kenny and I haven't finished it, but Loz, I think you've pretty much smashed the whole thing out.
I did. I really enjoyed it as a whole. I thought it was a really good series in terms of it started, it had a middle, it finished, and I really like that. That's so important. I hate when series just kind of drop off at the end and they just don't have a conclusion.
Yeah, it feels like they run out of steam.
Oh my gosh. So I was so happy to know that, BNA, it does finish well. So that's positive. If you haven't finished it yet, so
a
that's
somewhat
good.
satisfactory conclusion?
Yeah, I was happy enough with it. Yeah.
Okay. So we if you haven't caught Brand New Animal, this is Studio Trigger's latest outing of a series. It's a completely original story that they've come up with, and of course, like anything from Studio Trigger, you'll need to give your eyes a rest afterwards because vivid, bright colours, pretty fluid animation, and very interesting character designs. Though I do understand there has been some criticism from Brand New Animal about not kind of covering off a lot of the world that it's built itself upon, like not answering some questions which are kind of important to the plot.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of found I really enjoyed the animation. Always Studio Trigger always smashes it out of the
They
park.
deliver.
Sidebar, Cyberpunk, Studio Trigger, what?
Yeah, so excited.
But yeah, no, so Studio Trigger did a great job. The music was great. I actually watched the English dub, which was awesome, so I was really happy with that. In general, the characters were fine, but I felt like they needed a little more building, and the world building was pretty lacking.
Yeah.
So I felt like with a story like this that really needed to rely on its world building and how do we get here, it's like I needed a bit more from that.
Do we expect a second season at all, or was it very, very conclusive?
No, I feel like it's done on this.
Yeah,
Unless they pull out maybe a movie or something.
From everything I heard as well, it was meant to be kind of like a 12 and done sort of thing. Like once they've finished the series, it was meant to be that whole arc. And let's be honest, like original anime, it is hard to get more than 12 episodes for.
Yeah.
Because, backers want to back a sure thing. They want to get behind things that are already have an audience like a manga or a light novel series. Whereas if you're going, well, this is a completely brand new IP, it's a bit harder to get people to cough up the cash for it.
I guess that makes sense.
Then again, like Studio Trigger, you put that name on that, and everyone's like, I mean, I'll watch it. Whatever you want from me, Trigger, I'll do it for you.
Well, I mean, Promare worked great, for instance.
Promare was amazing. Absolutely.
Well, look, we do need to talk about the summer anime season because it is here, and it's time for us to talk about what we're keeping an eye on this season. And we're not going to do what we normally do, where we do every single anime and keep you here for 4 hours like we did last spring, because my lord, that season was ridiculous.
Sorry, everyone.
But with all the delays we've seen in recent months, this season is looking like a bumper for returning shows in particular, and there are a few fun releases. So if you're enjoying what you're hearing so far, maybe consider hit that subscribe button. But before we get into this episode's main topics, it's time for the anime news.
Making headlines.
Really?
Sort of.
Anime news.
Yes, it's the good old days of looking on Anime News Network and Crunchyroll News and pretty much anywhere that'll give me my anime information these days, because everyone's got a channel for it. Let's talk about something a little bit interesting that's happening over in Japan at the moment, because Japan cinemas have started reopening after their lockdowns kind of been reduced.
Except what movies would be out these days?
Well, 4 Studio Ghibli films have again ranked in the Japanese box office's top 10.
Wait, new film?
No, they've taken spots 1 to 3 and 8, Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind in that order.
So
have taken
no
1 to 3.
Pokemon, no Doraemon.
Nope.
Old Studio Ghibli?
Yep,
No?
and then
Studio Ghibli just released like a bunch of their old stock for cinema and just rake in a bunch of money?
Oh
Make
yeah,
that money.
and if you have a look at the figures, it's no small sum either. They've done quite well. They also put Tales of Earthsea up as well, which came in 8th, which I think might be the highest it's ever been at the box office.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Bless that movie was. It was not a bad movie. But Goro Miyazaki definitely did try and fit like 4 books worth of Ursula Le Guin's content, just smashed it together until it worked.
I'll make this happen.
No mean feat. But so that was a Goro Miyazaki. Is this sort of building hype for his new one?
It could be for Earwig and the Witch.
Yeah.
I think it's got like 4 different names now, depending on localization.
Is that the CG one that's coming out?
The
It
one
looks
that looks
really
like
interesting.
it's made from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
look.
I like the art style
No.
personally.
I'll give it a try. It looks kind of Dragon Questy, like that new kind of 3D model. And look, if it's got Ghibli name attached to it,
I'm not disparaging it. It looks like a fascinating kind of thing to bring to
definitely
cinema.
give it a try.
Well, it's interesting because Studio Ghibli and Toho launched a campaign to show the studio's movies in 396 theaters in Japan, and this is part of a bid to reinvigorate Japan's cinema market after it shut down,
Makes
because
sense.
obviously with the American market being closed as well, it's limiting what they're getting over there too.
Of course.
Okay, so you said they were in the top 3, and then 8 was Tales of Earthsea. So let's have a guess. What's number 1? What do you guys think?
I'm going to go Spirited Away.
You reckon? Okay, Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, close. 1 and 2. So
Ah.
Spirited Away,
Hey.
then Princess
Nice, high
Mononoke.
five. Okay, I'm.
Both.
Oh,
Both is good.
both is good.
Both is good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So look, that's the way the cinemas have been operating in Japan at the moment. We are expecting a lot more films to come out in the coming weeks, and even ones that kind of started showing and then had to stop because of obviously the lockdowns over there. But that brings us on to something a little bit different, which is our second topic for this, which is Attack on Titan's 4th season.
Oh, yes.
Now, everyone who's been watching Attack on Titan is very excited about. We're finally getting to this kind of the final arc of the main story. But there's been a bit of a change of hands. It's no longer being done by Wit Studios.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And Loz was actually the one that put me onto this. It's now being done by Mappa instead.
Yeah, super wild. Like, I was so surprised when I heard that Wit Studio wasn't finishing off Attack on Titan. They've been producing Attack on Titan and animating it since the start of this adaptation, and it's so wild at the last minute to hand it off to another studio, but the studio is none other than, drumroll, Mappa. And honestly, Studio Mappa, anything they do is excellent. So I'm sure it'll be great.
I mean, Mappa is great. You can't question their quality, but why is this handoff happening?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, essentially, so Twin Engine is the company. So you know, whenever you get an anime that starts up and there's those guys riding along on the motorbikes, and then there's a different studio that pops up.
Yeah.
Twin Engine are the primary production company, and they're the ones who decide who does the animation and who can do, the special effects, the sound, and so on. So they bring the project together, and then they organize who does what. And in this particular case, it sounds like the time slot they had planned for releasing season 4 is actually when Wit Studios has way too many projects on its plate to begin with.
Okay.
In particular, Vinland Saga season 2.
Oh my God, Vinland Saga is so good.
And there's about 3 other big ones Wit have all scheduled for that same time
valid.
period. So they didn't really have the capacity to take on another project, which is a shame. But at least it's gone to Mappa and not like, Studio Dean or JC stuff. Like, don't be wrong. Sometimes they put out gems, but I don't trust them with this quality of animation.
I feel like this is a very worthy kind of a successor for it. They've got a very similar kind of MO, so I'm very intrigued by this.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the character designs change and so forth. But we'll just have to wait and see. And I don't think that comes out till 2021 at this stage.
I'm a little worried, but at the same time, as long as it's close enough, I hope they don't go a huge model change or anything like that. But
I don't think they'd be able to get away with it because it would be too much of a departure. Now let's go through the Corona news. Now the good news is there is a lot less Corona news this time.
Hooray!
Because last time it was like 2 pages of stuff and it was just becoming ridiculous. So this season's TV adaptation of Ikebukuro Westgate Park, the novel, has been pushed back to October, along with Dropout Idol Fruit Tart and Assault Lily Bouquet. All 3 of those meant to come out this season. And in particular, Westgate Park, the novel is massive in Japan and very popular.
The manga, actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. So there's a lot of people a bit disappointed by that. For our listeners who are in Houston, Texas, the Anime Matsuri convention has been rescheduled until next year under order from the mayor. And those hoping to head to Universal Studio Japan's Super Nintendo World will have to put back your trip again. The theme park has decided to delay its Phase 1 opening to prevent overcrowding. But if you keep in mind, they were kind of pushing that forward a bit to try and get it open before the Olympics. That's obviously not so much of an issue right now.
So Big F in the chat. I was supposed to be leaving for Japan next week. Literally next Thursday. I was supposed to be going to the Olympics. I was supposed to be going to Universal Studios, Nintendo Land. I was supposed to be going to Ghibli Museum. So I'm so sad. Obviously, this is a terrible, terrible pandemic and it's awful, and I wouldn't want this to be handled any other way, but I'm very sad.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've been meaning to go for a few years, Kenny and I. Even had tickets once, and then the other people were going with bailed, which really disappointed us.
It happens.
However, there are some good updates on releases. So the new Higurashi When They Cry anime adaptation is now going to air in October. And that was meant to be this season as well, but they've now went, okay, we've definitely got a release date. Live action Keep Your Hands Off Aizuken film will open in Japanese cinemas on September 25th. Yes. That was meant to be May, I believe. And the Studio Ghibli Museum is aiming to gradually reopen itself to the public, starting this month with just local residents in the area surrounding it, and planning to expand its access lead up to September, having international visitors again.
It was so cute. I don't know if anyone has been doing this, but they have been doing kind of tours online, Studio Ghibli, which is so sweet. So you can kind of still go there. I was really tempted to do it, but then I was like, I won't spoil myself.
Especially when you consider that up until this point, you were not allowed to take photographs inside the Studio Ghibli Museum. It's really quite surprising for them to do it. Well, let's look. We'll get over the headlines about what's been making news the past 2 weeks. Animation fans in Brazil and Mexico will be getting a heap of new anime in the coming months, with Funimation announcing it will expand its streaming service this fall to the countries. The company plans to offer anime titles for both subtitles and dubs in Spanish and Portuguese. Staying with streaming services, Funimation will add all episodes of Naruto Shippuden and the first 51 episodes of Naruto Next Generations to its UK and Ireland streaming services. The series will be available in both English and Japanese, with the dub available straight away at launch. Crunchyroll has announced it will be adding Reincarnated as a Slime's upcoming 5th OVA in November after a delay in release due to the virus, and retro anime streaming service Retro Crush is adding 10 classic animes to its back catalogue throughout July, including One Millionaire Trip Banda Book, Ambassador Magma, and Shin Getter Robot. Several upcoming anime projects have made announcements this past fortnight as well, with both film and TV projects receiving revised release dates. Dr. Stone's second season has announced it's planning to premiere in January next year, with the new season adapting the Stone Wars arc. Hot off the back of this season's Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, another Teasing Girl manga is getting an anime adaptation. A Twitter account was opened this week to announce Don't Mess With Me Nagatoro. The manga is receiving a television adaptation in the near future, with Sumeri Osaka of Bang Dream fame voicing the main character. G-Kids has licensed Studio Ghibli's first CG feature, Earwig and the Witch, which is planned for release in theatres in North America early 2021. And O Maiden's In Your Savage Season is receiving a live-action series, along with 2 additional chapters for the manga, planned for release in August and September. Heading over to the bookshelves, and the Haikyuu manga has reached the climax of its final arc, with the next 2 chapters expected to include extra long chapter numbers to tie up the remaining story arcs. A certain Magic Index spin-off manga, A Certain Scientific Accelerator, is also coming to an end, with its last chapter due out this month, and the manga for this season's school life series, Diary of Our Days at the Breakwater manga, is heading on hiatus due to flooding, preventing the creator from working. And there's some good news from Kyoto Animation, with the studio announcing it's accepting job applications again for animators and 3D CG staff, among many other roles. The studio had postponed recruiting for the 2021 fiscal year due to the spread of the coronavirus, and hadn't openly been recruiting after a fire tore through the company's Studio One building in July last year. And that's your anime news for the week ending July 12, 2020.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
That's a lot of anime.
Oh, there's so many.
No, I didn't watch them all. Summer anime.
Yes. We've got this lovely Beach Boys soundtrack, and we're
summer.
here freezing in the southern hemisphere. So, this season's anime, we have a lot going on, and it's all looking quite interesting, to be honest.
I'm really surprised. I thought this season would be absolutely a write-off with all of the delays and stuff like that as well, but actually it's a really good season.
It is. There's a lot of returning series as well, like season 2s, 3s, 4s, and even a season 5 for one particular show coming up. And this brings us to our first one of the new shows we want to talk about, with an unusual name, I think you might say. It's called Deca-Dence. It's not about shiny stuff.
No?
Well, yes and no. It doesn't really feel like it really is about anything shiny, considering it's about giant monsters. So I've been quite surprised by it so far. I really enjoyed what I've seen of the first episode so far.
Kind of just another case of it being a name that sounds kind of cool, so they slapped it on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, literally.
You sure it's not everything covered in chocolate like Deca-Dence?
No, definitely. Well, there's everything covered in slime and alien guts sort of things.
Nice.
So this is a original anime series by Studio Nut, who we've always take the mickey out of because what a name.
Bless him.
It's airing on Wednesdays, just 30 minutes before midnight, so 11:30 p.m. in Japan. The summary is pretty simple. Many years have passed since humanity was driven to the brink of extinction by the sudden emergence of the unknown life forms Gadol. These humans that survive now dwell in a 3,000-meter high mobile fortress called Deca-Dence, built to protect themselves from the threat. The citizens of Deca-Dence fall into 2 categories: gears, warriors who fight the Gadol daily, and the tankers, those without the skills to fight but living within the giant structure. One day, Natsume, a tanker girl who dreams of becoming a gear, meets the surly Kaburagi, an armor repairman on Deca-Dence. This chance meeting between the seemingly 2 opposites, the girl with a positive attitude who never gives up on her dreams, and the realist who has given up on his, will eventually shake the future of this world.
Okay, so it's like Mortal Engines fighting Gal Gadot, who's Wonder Woman. That's what I'm seeing. And then it's like Tank Girl in kind of like a Mad Max situation. Did I get it right?
Sort of.
I would more say like Mortal Engines, but you know Attack on Titan?
Yeah, that. So
Just that.
So just to cover off a few things, Studio Nut did FLCL Alternative, which was the recent reboot, and the saga of Tanya the Evil. But we're not involved in Isekai Quartet, so go figure. Pretty good so far from what I've seen, music and animation wise. A bit less detailed than some, as you'd expect, but it's got the lighting really good.
It's when I first saw the trailer, I had a bunch of questions because you can't help but compare it to Attack on Titan. And I just thought, okay, my questions are, where are they living? What are they fighting? And what are they using to fight? Because with Attack
Giant needles.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So they've it's very Attack on Titan, as in they have movementy sort of gear, which is sort of in zero gravity. They kind of create small pocket areas of these zero gravity, and they pierce the creatures with needlepoint weapons to extract their green blood, which they then use to power the moving city.
Okay, I've got a few questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Why does the goo run the city? Why needles? What do you mean by zero gravity pocket?
It's
Look, I haven't
literally
seen
looks
this
like
yet,
a shiny
obviously.
bubble.
so
It's really weird. If you watch the first episode, you will get everything you need to know in that first episode,
That's
which
good
is
to
pretty
know.
good.
Okay.
which is a great way to actually, set up. If you just you can establish yourself in the first episode, you've won.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing I found interesting from it is they eat the meat of the gadols. Here's the thing, the gadols, depending on where you get your synopsis, it suggests that they could have been humans once.
This is an Evangelion thing.
Yeah, well, does that mean it's technically cannibalism?
Yikes.
We'll see. The heroine Natsume has the same haircut as Emma from The Promised Neverland in color, but definitely a completely different character.
Maybe she's older. This is after The Promised Neverland. I've finished the
Oh,
manga.
God.
No spoilers.
I have finished the manga, and no, it's not. There's also some great secondary story elements they kind of just throw in that first episode as well, like different storylines that'll pop up, which make you go, "Ooh, how's that happened?" So look,
I don't know. The last few seconds of the first episode just made me think, "What the heck is happening?"
Yeah, it's amazing. I love
in a
it.
good way or a bad way?
Yes.
Okay.
Both.
I'm interested. I'm super interested in this. Again, I watched the PV and I was confused, but in a positive way. So I'm keen for kind of more Attack on Titan, Carbonary Iron Fortress kind of style, fighting big monsters. The zero gravity thing weirded me out, and also the weird cannibalism with the needles and the sub-gravity space. But sure, I'll give it a try.
Also, Deca-Dence seems to have a giant fist weapon to punch bad people.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Right.
Is this thing piloted by Armstrong from FML?
It should be, but it isn't.
sorry.
Action, sci-fi, adventure airs on Wednesday. We're expecting 12 episodes of this, and you can catch it on Anime Lab, Funimation, good old Wakanim, Hulu, Bilibili if you're in China, and Annie Plus and Annie Plus Asia for the rest of Southeast Asia. But that brings us to something which is... this is fitting for what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode with time travel. I'll leave this to you, Kenny, because I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, this thing is called Gibiate, I think.
Gibiate.
This
Hey!
could be Gibiate. It's,
You come to me on the day of Gibiate's wedding.
It is nothing to do with Godfather, which makes me sad. No, this is post-apocalyptic. This is post-apocalyptic, but starring people from the past.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Okay, so story time. In 2030, people in Japan are turning into different forms of monsters based on their age, gender, and race.
I have a question.
Yep.
Already, I'm just got a question. What?
That is a good question.
It's a valid question.
The illness is called Gibiate, after being very rich in variety, like Gibiate.
Okay, I'll quickly interject on this because I had to do some research. So Gibiate is actually the French word for game animals.
Okay.
I.e. wild animal hunted for food. It is found very prominently, which is where they've taken. I don't know why they've spelt it differently, but that's the closest connection I could find.
So people are turning into game animals.
Okay.
Yep.
A samurai and a ninja appear in the blighted wasteland of Japan. They both traveled from the early Edo period, fighting together with the help of a doctor who tries to find a cure for Gibiate.
Excuse me, just sir. Just another question I've got. I've just got a few. Just a few questions just on the side. What?
Good question.
This is why we watch anime, though, isn't it?
So they
what
face
though?
ceaseless attacks from the Gibiate and outlaws that attack travelers for food, and so they start their dangerous journey with enemies all around.
So there's a lot to unpack in this. It's essentially time-traveling ninjas and samurais and martial arts and horror and fantasy and something interesting here, though. This is a joint collaboration between Launchbox and Studio L. Now, they will not be very familiar to many people. Launchbox, I could not find very much in the studio, but they appear to be a support studio, which is joining the big leagues. Studio L, there is a lot on these guys if you do a deep. They are a Japanese support studio, originally specializing in cell painting up until 2005.
Ooh.
They later absorbed animation studio Jeki and Anime Spot and its staff in 2012. They've been involved in a lot of big animes as a support company. Your Name, Yuri on Ice,
Wow.
Sword Art Online, My Hero Academia, Darling in the Franxx. That's just to name a few. Their
Oh my
list is
gosh.
huge, and these are the guys who did all the painting and shading for that.
And so these two are sort of combining to sort of make
With their powers combined.
yeah.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I have high hopes for this.
I have sort of middling hopes. This kind of looks like what I've kind of deemed katana porn. It's basically just saying that the katana and the Edo period samurai warriors are like
Yeah.
the ultimate weapons. And
Yeah. I mean,
that kind of stuff
The other
doesn't
thing
get
as
me
well
hooked.
is that this is an original series,
Always a bit
and
worried about
it's
that.
being created by the Gibiate Project, an IP development group consisting of internationally renowned Japanese creators such as Yoshita Amano from Final Fantasy,
Oh.
Naoki Sarazawa from Biohazard and Resident Evil,
Whoa.
and then musicians such as Yuzo Kozuro, composer of YS and ActRaiser, and the Yoshida brothers, world-renowned shamanist group, and Sugio, the guitarist from Luna Sea X Japan. Now, none of these guys are animators.
No, I mean, Amano-san's done beautiful artwork for Final Fantasy. Like all of that traditional artwork you've seen on all the Final Fantasy covers, that's all Amano. But also, when we watch the PV for this, it's like weirdly CG everywhere. So where's Amano's coming?
There's a load of
coming
like,
through?
depending on which PV you watch, there is a one where it's like all these sketches and random voice acting. But all of the ones I've seen so far seem more interested in showing off who's involved in the project than what it's about.
Which makes me feel like this is a kind of a big passion project kind of deal.
Well, the first episode still isn't out. It's out next week, July 15th. And there's a few this season which we haven't obviously been able to watch because they're not out yet. Because everything's a mess because Rona.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this looks interesting. I definitely want to give it a shot.
I'm intrigued. I will give it the 3 episode, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm a little worried just based
yeah.
on just what if we just threw all these people that are good and smash them together and see what happens. But look, it might still be good. We don't know.
Well, this one airs on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. and you can catch it on Crunchyroll worldwide, which, is always good when we don't have to say, hey, there's these 67 different services you've got to check out if you want to find it. Yeah. Now, Loz, I think you're pretty excited about
I'm
this.
so excited. Okay, so
Take it away.
This next one's called The God of High School. If you haven't seen it yet, it is so much fun. It's based on a manhwa, and if you've ever read a manhwa, which is a Korean manga, then you kind of come across a lot of these fighting high school martial arts style stories.
It does seem to be kind of a trend, doesn't it?
It absolutely is, and it feels like I felt like I was transported back to like late 90s, early 2000s, like Tenjo Tenjei kind of style, and it's just awesome. So the animation is so fluid, and it's just super cool. So I'll give you a rundown about what the God of High School is about. So Jin Mori has proclaimed himself the strongest high schooler. Of course he has. His life changes when he's invited to participate in the God of High School tournament to determine the strongest high schooler of all. Hello, Dragon Ball Z vibes.
Yeah.
He's told that if he wins, any wish he makes will be granted. All the participants are powerful contenders and who fights the hardest for their own wishes. So if you win the fight, you get a wish. Again,
we're going to
Dragon
summon
Ball
the
Z
Dragon
vibes,
Balls, yeah.
but without a giant dragon. Unless, I don't know, I haven't seen dragon yet. What awaits him at the end of the tournament? A chaotic battle between unbelievably strong high schoolers is about to begin, and the first episode is so good.
Can they wish for infinite wishes?
What if?
No. Just going to put it out. This is Korean high school Street Fighter on steroids.
Oh my god, so much.
Like, amazingly so. And
It's
I just have to
amazing.
wonder about that concept. It was like, was there a massive demand in this world for like people watching like wrestling and boxing and stuff and just thinking, I want to see high school students beat the ever-loving daylights out of each other?
Because that's perfectly reasonable.
Like, is it though?
I mean,
Apparently.
like, think about like we've had Megalobox and like Ippo being such a huge boxing manga. I mean, people love fighting and particularly martial arts. And again, we mentioned Dragon Ball Z and Tenjo Tenge. Like we haven't seen a big martial arts tournament kind of style anime in a while. So I'm
I think
super
the
keen
last
for
time we
this.
saw anything similar to that was in One Punch Man, and that was mostly having Saitama just kind of watching everyone else.
Absolutely
And, yeah,
more
it was
like
kind of more silly than anything. if it's
superhero.
Saitama.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, One Punch Man was definitely more satire. But then again, this is very funny. Like
the comedy in
the
this
comedy
is on point.
is so funny. And I did not mention, but the most important thing that you guys need to know is it's by one of my fave studio, Mappa. So we know
It's
and we
gonna be
trust
good.
all of their stuff pretty much. I mean, Uranice, Banana Fish, Dotaro, just some things they've done in the last few years, and we trust them.
And let's be honest as well, like this is part of Crunchyroll's Crunchyroll original lineup, which is basically their own internal studio that they've organized. So you know how I was saying like Twin Engine like cast out to other people to do the work.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. Crunchyroll has said this is something we want adapted. Who's willing to do it?
And the cool thing about this, like if anyone's watching Tower of God at the moment, that's another similar thing with the Crunchyroll originals. So that's another webtoon like The God of High School that's been picked up and they're doing an anime for it.
Yeah, the Crunchyroll lineup has been like pretty successful to say the least.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
worth keeping your eyes on.
I'm
And this is like another just sort of like, this looks so good.
It looks
I'm
so
actually
good.
very excited that we're starting to get some Korean manhwas adapted
Absolutely.
because one of my favorites, which is Solo Leveling, which is a recent one, I want that adapted so bad because, oh my lord.
Message Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Hello, I would like this for Christmas.
I actually know someone at Crunchyroll. I might message her.
Hey.
You know a guy.
I know a guy.
My uncle that works
girl.
at Crunchyroll.
Yeah, someone that works at Crunchyroll. What do? I work at the shop. Oh, you can do things, right? This airs on Mondays at 11:30 at night. There are going to be 13 episodes: action, fantasy, martial arts, sci-fi, supernatural, PG-13, and you can catch it on Crunchyroll. And because of their relationship, Anaplus, Bilibili, and Muse Asia. Also, on that note, we should probably mention that Gibiate, which we were mentioning earlier, that's likely to have an M15 or higher rating. So obviously, keep the kiddies away from that
Oh,
one.
yeah, we should, yeah.
Now, I am the Great Pretender.
Wait, you're not really Kyle?
No, I'm not. The Great Pretender. This is a Netflixy. It's been released worldwide, and this is wow.
This is something rather
It's-
pretty.
It looks fun.
It does. This is actually, strangely enough, the first anime given permission to use any of Freddie Mercury's music.
Any
And
of Queen's music,
Any of
surely.
Queen's music as well.
Yeah.
And it's using, obviously, the song The Great Pretender for the outro, not the opening. And this is Wit Studios, so it's going to be good. So Great Pretender is about Masato Edamara, who is supposedly Japan's greatest swindler. And together with his partner Kudo, they try to trick a Frenchman in Asakusa, but unexpectedly get tricked themselves. The Frenchman whom they tried to swindle, who is definitely not named Lupin, turns out to be Laurent Thierry, a much higher level confidence man in control of the mafias. Yep, plural. For some reason, on all the websites, mafias.
I
Go
mean,
figure.
maybe.
Well, there's sort
yeah.
of different family groups and all that kind of stuff. Not that I know.
One mafia, two mafias, three mafiosos. Let's go with that.
Is it Mafiai?
Mafia X.
Mud Edamura is yet to find out what fate awaits him after having engaged the Frenchman's dirty jobs and made a bet to become his underling if he failed.
And you kind of get a sense for the direction this guy's life is going in when it opens up on him hanging upside down from the Hollywood sign.
Hanging out of the
Yeah.
Y, and he's like, "Help me!"
It's just like you kind of get a distinct feel for it. It's like, okay, yeah, we have an idea of where this is going.
Now, this is one of those cases where it's been released in batches of 5 on Netflix worldwide, so we don't have to wait until the end of the season for it actually to show up, like Brand New Animal or Beastars or anything like that. There are 15 episodes out at the moment, out of 23. In the next 2 weeks, each week one should be getting released on Thursday.
And it seems like every 5 or so episodes is kind of like a volume, you would
arc?
say? Yeah,
Yeah.
like a
Like a
plot
mini
arc.
arc, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks amazing. Animation's really
It's
slick.
so colourful.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah, the background has kind of like a very, what would you even call it? Like an Art Deco kind of thing going on where it's like
Absolutely.
very, very vibrant colours.
I'm trying to think of something to compare it to that is not paprika.
Maybe what's that one? It's kind of like what's pepper, salt. It's another kind of spice.
Oh.
It's a movie. Paprika?
No.
Got him.
Yeah. It is very. There are some really beautiful bits of tone to it. There are some shots which make you go, "This looks like a Makoto Shinkai shot." So,
It's also
highly recommended.
set in the 90s, which is an
Has that
interesting place
90s
to put it.
feel. Absolutely.
Actually, it reminded me very, very much of a movie from the late 80s, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Anyone see that one?
Oh yeah.
Not for me. Nope, haven't seen it.
Might have to hit you up, but very kind of a
Okay.
similar premise, like a low-level con man meets like a high-level con man, and they try to out-con each other. It's kind of that kind of thing.
It's a brilliant idea.
I mean, the first thing I saw when I watched the first episode is I immediately got Bacano vibes. So that kind of like mafia,
And the
that
music as
comedy,
well.
the music, the jazz, and the bright colors. Like it kind of feels a bit like
they
that
also
to me.
did that brilliant switch between, so everyone's talking in broken English in the lead up to make it sound like they're trying to talk to one another in a common language.
Well, they're
that
in
both
Los
of them
Angeles,
speak.
so yeah.
And then they go to a point and go, just to make this easy on you, we're going to just change all dialogue to Japanese. And it's like, oh yeah, that's easy.
like,
cool.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Director. Let's
Yeah.
go on.
And
Yeah,
then
it's a
from
way
there,
of
the rest
doing
of the
it.
show, even when they're speaking in English, is in Japanese, which, considering it's targeted at a Japanese audience, kind of important.
Yeah.
But look, this is already on Netflix, and I think by the end of July, the entire thing should be up on there. So definitely check it out. 23
absolutely.
episodes, 23 minutes. It's action, adventure, crime, and comedy. With Studio, no rating at this point, and surprisingly, an original product.
Well, I consider because maybe there's like references to crime and drugs and adult themes like that, it'll have kind of a high-ish
Yeah, there
rating.
was drugs in
PGM.
the first episode, so
Or
I'd chuck an MA on there.
implied drug use.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case. But yeah, look, I mean, obviously not one for the kids, but it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah, it looks really good, and already the characters are so fun after one episode. So
Now, this is bringing us to something which is a bit more romantic, if you will.
romantic. Otome games, of course, I love them. They're so trash. And of course, we have Mr. Love Queen's Choice, which is.
It looks very, very pretty.
It looks gorgeous. And again, we can thank, what is it? Who's that again? Sorry.
Is that
Is that
Mappa?
Studio Mappa? Yeah, it's again Studio Mappa. They're doing so much. Okay, just sidebar on the sidebar. Wit Studio couldn't do Attack on Titan because they were too busy, but Mappa's got like 5 things this season, so I don't know what's up with that.
I'm just having a look through our notes and going, how have they managed
How did they
this?
manage to do that?
Is it just that Wit Studio has kind of a relatively small team compared to Marvel?
I
or
think it
something?
is because they were quite young when they were quite new when they started the Attack on Titan, which is, everyone was like, wow, you've given it to this studio and no one's heard of them before.
Look,
That's
honestly, I'm happy for Wit Studio to just work on Vinland Saga and Vinland Saga alone until that's ready.
Yep.
In the meantime, Mappa has come out with this interesting choice that they've decided to do, which is an Otome game-esque style romance show where you've got your kind of faceless protagonist. She does have an animated face, but you've got your standard kind of shoe-in, this is me, self-insert protagonist, and all these beautiful, attractive, and special men that have fallen in love with her classic Otome game
Wonderful
tropes.
4 boys.
I mean, hey guys, that could be you.
Could it?
It could be.
I'm going to go and get my anime hair gel.
No,
That's it.
I'm going to be reincarnated as the villain.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, actually, yes. No,
Yay.
considering how many times you suggested death lasers, yes.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll give you a rundown of the summary of the story, even though you obviously don't need it. But hey, let's just go through it anyway. So a girl inherits a company, of course she does, that is almost bankrupt
Of
from her
course it is.
late father, probably gambling debts, knowing all the Otome games I've played. Lacking the funds, she now must become the producer herself in order to save the company from collapse. Go girl, businesswoman. During her work, she meets 4 boys. Financial expert Zen.
Definitely has glasses.
The idol Kira.
Definitely has fluffy hair.
The police officer Haku.
Definitely has abs.
Police officer?
And leading neuroscientist, that's a new one, Simon. Simon?
Simon says.
Is Simon a sexy boy's name for Japanese anime?
I don't know.
Simon?
What is
Simon?
this company?
This is Mappa.
Yeah, what is that? What are they doing? What is their company?
Yeah, like what is this company that she's
what are they
trying to save?
producing?
I think it's meant to be like music idol stuff.
Yeah, but okay.
They've
but
got a policeman.
a policeman and a neuroscientist doing music.
Okay, so a financial expert, an idol, a police officer, and a neuroscientist walk into a building. What's the building?
It's
Insert
TV
badum shit here. I don't know. There's a.
It's got to be a
there's
TV
cool
studio. That's
line
literally
here.
the only thing I can
I
think of.
feel like we won't know the end of this joke until we see it.
Well, the rest of the joke is that there's conspiracies and mysteries over the existence of special powers known as evil.
Well, that explains the neuroscientist, I
So
think.
it's not just an Otome game where you've got your 4 hot boys and this girl's trying to do her best with her new company that she's trying to run, but it's also got superpowers. So the genre is like you've got your music, romance, shoujo, slice of life, superpower.
Yep, and that is the shortened list of genre. They've ticked every box possible.
One of these
Mappa, what are
things
you
is
getting
not
yourself into?
Like the other. One of these things is not the same. Yeah, anyway, so it looks incredibly wild. Mr. Love, Queen's Choice. I'm going to watch it because, boy,
I'm going to watch it
sounds
because I
wild.
have so many questions.
I've got a lot of questions, and it is genuinely beautifully animated.
It's like, this is so shiny. I'm sure I'm not going to regret this at all.
Love the shiny boys. So
Yeah,
yeah,
very
look,
pretty.
I'll
Now,
watch it for the pretty boys.
This one hasn't come out. July 16th is its first episode. That's Thursday night, midnight. So Thursday night, Friday morning. You can catch it on Crunchyroll, Annie+ and Annie+ Asia. I'm sure more streaming services will pick it up during that slot. I think we've got to talk about a very important story
Very
about a boy who meets a girl.
Sounds very different.
Yeah,
It's
a
kind of
boy meets
special,
girl.
Wild. Never
Boy
heard
is
this
renting
one.
girl. Boy falls into deep depression. Girl leaves boy. It's a classic tale.
A classic tale. There was something in there I didn't know.
Yeah.
The rent.
Yeah, just that bit was a bit different.
Yeah, we're talking about rent a girlfriend.
Okay. Where can I get
Kanojo
one of
Okari
these?
Shimasu.
Man, Uber is going in weird directions.
Oh my god.
So look, well, let's clear this up. So dumped by his girlfriend, college student Kazuya Kinoshita attempts to cheer himself up with a rental girlfriend. This is an actual service you can get in Japan. People have done videos on this. Have a look on YouTube. Shizuru Mizuhara seems to be the perfect girl, great looks and a cute, caring personality. Apparently, that's all that matters. Definitely no common interests or anything like that. Yeah. But upon seeing mixed opinions on her profile after their first date, Kazuya believes Chizuru is playing with the hearts of men and leaves her a negative rating. 1 star. Downvote. Angry at his disrespect, Chizuru reveals her true nature, a sassy and temperamental girl, and a complete opposite to her first impression. At that very moment, Kazuya receives news of his grandmother's collapse and is forced to bring Chizuru with him to the hospital. Hilarity ensues. His grandmother is now ecstatic because Kazuya has finally found a serious girlfriend, which had always been a wish, and unable to tell the truth, the pair are forced into a fake relationship. This sounds very suspiciously like Nisekoi 2.0.
But also
Pretty
with
much.
like, oh my goddess, a little bit.
Yeah. The oh my god, is dating service, essentially. Except that she's not going to, go nuclear and thermodetonate. Unless. Look, I wasn't too sure on this when I actually looked at it. And then I went, well, it's got the romance tag, so I'm in. I'm going to be in for the count, and it's going to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah, because you're a colossal masochist. For
I
that sort of
definitely
thing.
am. I really like this so
Yeah,
far.
The first episode was actually, it was good trash.
It was good trash.
Good comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Yeah.
It's I am very concerned about the directions that it could go.
The scenery animation was really good. Like, there's a scene in the aquarium, and it's beautiful.
Oh, thank
yeah.
gosh. The scenery background looks so good. I mean...
Well, the girls have good fashion sense too.
Yeah, it is beautifully animated, and I was really worried about the rent-a-girlfriend part.
Yeah.
And how that might be really, gross.
Yep.
It was actually really good. She's really great. He was actually kind of gross and then realized that he was being gross and
Yeah.
then moved past that. And like all that, then Thai synopsis was like the first episode. And so I'm really interested to see where it's going to go. So I'm actually
Yeah,
really
I
into
really
the
hope
characters.
that character development stays.
Yeah, same.
I hope the character development continues, more importantly.
That would be good.
I hope. Yeah, it's the whole thing I don't like with certain shows and animes from the deep past is that they learned a thing in that episode and then they forget it in the next.
I know, right?
So I
I
really
learned
hope-
I shouldn't put my hand in the toaster when it's on. Next episode, I did it anyway.
Oh my God.
pretty much the
Yeah.
intellectual equivalent of that. So I want to see where this goes. I want to see more. I worry it's going to get really, really bad as well.
Yeah. Well, this is comedy, romance, school, and shonen. Apparently, no rating given, but I would say this one definitely probably has the PG up, just in case. Yeah, shonen apparently.
I mean, there was that scene.
Yeah.
With the,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and the,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but PG-13, I would say.
PG-13. And it's by TMS Entertainment, who've done a lot of stuff in the past, from Pokemon to, geez, what else was there? I think they were involved with Lupin as well, TMS. This is from a manga, airs on Saturdays at 1:25 in the morning. 12 episodes, 23-minute runtime as standard, and it's from a manga. You can catch it on Crunchyroll pretty much everywhere, and if you're in China, it's on Bilibili. So,
People that made Pokemon did this.
yep.
That is so weird.
They're multi-talented. Like, I think it actually has a lot of promise. Again, yeah, you said Nisekoi vibes, but also little bunny girl senpai kind of vibes as well. So, yeah, check it out if you're a romance fan, because it actually probably will be the best one of the season. I think. Probably better than the Otome game one.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there, maybe.
I'm not gonna like downplay Mr. Love, Queen's Choice, but I do feel
But-
like it's a bit of a stretch.
Then again, what if it surprises us?
It could.
What
It could
if it's the
surprise and
best anime of
delight.
the season?
Oh, jeez. All right, let's talk about disaster films.
Yes,
or
'cause,
series.
We're in the year for it. This is 2020. Aliens are invading. There's murder hornets and all other kinds of things.
Pandemic.
We might as well sync Japan.
Let's sink Japan.
Yeah.
What?
Japan syncs 2020.
Oh
so
no.
it is. Oh wow! It is actually called 2020. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Japan sinks 2020. Man, what a bleak idea.
Yeah. So to give a little bit of context, this is based on a manga from 2006 to 2008.
Wow.
It ran for 130 chapters, and it was in the peak of when they were getting a lot of earthquakes and stuff in Japan.
What a thing to
So-
write when earthquakes are happening.
I know, right?
I mean, you gotta deal with it somehow.
They
I
have no
guess.
shortage of inspiration, but still.
Yikes.
So, story time. Shortly after the Tokyo Olympics in 2020,
Lol.
a major earthquake hits Japan. Amidst the chaos, siblings Ayumu and Gao of the Muto household begin to escape the city with their family of 4. The sinking Japanese archipelagos, however, relentlessly pursue the family.
I'm just imagining
Okay,
the
what?
islands chasing them down the street. Like a man
Help!
dressed in a Japanese outfit, like just the Japan.
This is by Masaki Yuasa. It could be.
It could be.
It could be just the Japan giant landforms get up, Mount Fuji starts chasing you. It's not.
So,
about
It's
that.
not, but-
plunged into extreme conditions, life and death and the choice of meeting and parting in the face of dreadful reality, the Muto siblings believe in the future and acquire the strength to survive with utmost effort. So it sounds like it's going to be that whole strength of the human spirit versus dear God's absolute destruction and horrors.
Yeah.
And it's all out now.
Thank God.
You
I
can watch
it right
all
now.
of it.
Oh,
You can
wow.
binge through.
Oh, wicked.
Did you guys watch? I don't know how long ago. It was probably about 10 years. Tokyo Magnitude 8.0.
Yeah.
Like real similar vibes. I cried a lot. It was
Yep.
really hard to get through, and I
Yep.
just can't believe they're doing it to me again. But it's just like in the whole like grand scheme of 2020, like yikes, this is a harsh thing to release, particularly
Yeah.
after tsunami. Like I know it's been a few years now,
Yeah.
I feel like
It's been over 10 years now.
I feel like I'm going to have to
2011, so
Yeah.
as I watch this, I'm going to have to pace myself like every couple of episodes.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to have to watch some Eurocamp.
Yep, that's
Take a
fair.
break.
It's by Science Saru, who did Keep Your Hands Off Izuken, Devilman Crybaby, Ride Your Wave, and as you mentioned, same director as well. Bit of a passion project by the sounds of it. And it's available with both subbed and dubbed versions in multiple languages on Netflix worldwide. So once again, we don't have to wait till the end of the season for it to show up. So that's always a win.
Yeah, I like Yuasa is a creative genius, but I'm worried about this one because it's going to be really hard to watch. It's going to be real close to home. But from watching the PV we guys watched yesterday, it looks incredibly
Incredibly well done.
incredibly excellent. The animation's beautiful. It looks emotional and powerful, and the characters look like they're really going to go through a lot of changes and different
Which
scenarios.
I mean, the Japanese, the big, like, huge tsunami wasn't really that long ago. So
No,
I
still
have concerns
close to
about
home.
this.
Yeah. You can catch this on Netflix now. There's 10 episodes, 25 minutes a pop. Available pretty much anywhere Netflix works, so go figure. Now, lightning round. 2 quick shows we need to very quickly talk about. Quick thoughts. Lapis Re follows the series of adventures of Tiara at Flora Girls Academy, where witches are trained to purify the magical beasts that threaten the humans. It seems to be a Magic Girl idol anime.
It looks very pretty.
There were no beasts or purifying in the first episode,
No.
so I didn't realize that was actually
No,
part of it.
it was just the main character being introduced to anime Hogwarts.
Yeah, anime Hogwarts, and it was just like cute girls doing cute things, maybe idols. What's happening? There was also a weird wizard class system.
Yep. It's very unique.
Surprisingly, a lot of world building, and more than I was expecting for something. Whenever it's got re ... in it, you're kind of always
know.
like. So yeah, Lapis relights, but I was actually kind of surprised about how good it looked.
Also,
as well.
one character has a generous dose of that Gynax bounce TM
Gosh, damn.
for no adequately explained reason.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a 3-episode one.
Yeah, we'll see if it goes good. I had a lot of fun with it.
That was actually quite good.
Pretty much on everything Funimation. So Funimation, Anime Lab, Wakanim in Europe, Bilibili, Anime Plus, Annie Plus, and Muse Asia. And Uzaki-chan wants to hang out.
Does she?
Manga adaptation, 12 episodes. Once again, Funimation, Anime Lab, Wakanim, and probably others. University student Shinichi Sakuri is comfortable being an introvert and doesn't care what others think. However, underclassman Hana Uzaki doesn't understand this one bit and wants to make him more sociable. I read the manga for this. The manga is fantastic. This anime adaptation looks awful.
Oh my gosh.
It looks like they've just basically loaded as much eki as they possibly could onto it and just went, here, have.
It
I
looks so bad.
remember you showing me like pictures of the
side by
manga. And it's
side.
like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah. It's very sweet, especially the most recent chapters. It's really adorable. There's this really cute scene where she's holding his jumper and sniffing it and going just doki doki written all over the page, and she's going, "Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it." Like that is not the vibe this show gives off.
No, like just even the base images they've put out for this season. She's got weirdly big eyes in comparison to everyone else. She's got giant tits. That's not a problem at all, but she looks like she's 6 years old, and it's so unnerving.
It's just not right.
And it's not right. It's very weird, and
It's
I'm really not into it.
Kind of very different to the manga. So
Because they're supposed to be in college, right?
Yeah. That like he's like he's third year of college, I think, and she's second year, so underclassmen in the middle. But yeah,
So it's just
Yikes.
this is another one of those ones where it's just like read the manga instead.
yeah, definitely read the manga instead. I
There's
think.
very, very few of those which I'll say like it's advisable that you like monumentally advisable that you read the manga
don't
instead.
watch the anime.
Well,
begging you.
I am going to watch it just to make sure that it's not just a marketing ploy. But I suspect I will drop it, unfortunately, despite loving this franchise so much.
Such a shame.
That brings us to the end of the first part. We'll be right back in a minute.
Kawaii-Fi Radio. That's a lot of anime.
Oh, there's so many.
No, I didn't watch them all. Summer anime.
All right, let's get stuck back in. Let's go to a very strange and wonderful place. It's a place set back in time, a place which is historical and filled with magical people who create science. We're talking about Appare Ranman. This was one that was delayed from last season.
This thing is more like the Wacky Racers reboot.
Yeah.
JoJo Part 7.
It's JoJo Part 7, yeah. I'd get behind that.
JoJo joins the Wacky Racers.
Absolutely.
I will defeat you, dastardly and motley.
I seriously need like a JoJo button actually now that
But
I look
also,
at it.
like,
This is disappointing.
With Dr. Stone. Because
Yeah.
I remember we were watching this and we were like, he needs to hang out with Senku so bad. They are basically the same character. They'd be the
Yes.
best friends.
Oh, yeah.
So if you like Dr. Stone, you're going to like this guy.
You're going to
Absolutely.
love it. Appare Ranman, we mentioned this obviously last season, and the next two are also from this season as well, from last season, which were delayed and brought back. But we'll kind of quickly go over this. So
Yeah, because COVID has kind of like made it very, very hard to produce
COVID.
these kind of things. There is fewer things this season, but there are also a bunch of returning ones from the last season that were delayed.
Well,
So
can you
it
give us
kind
the
of works
lowdown?
out. Oh, yes. So after a mishap, the brilliant but socially inept engineer Sorano Appare and the shrewd but cowardly samurai Ishiki Kosame find themselves drifting on a boat from Japan to America.
Yep.
It's they are absolutely flat broke. They decide to compete in the Trans-American Wild Race to win the prize and return to Japan rich as it gets. The duo battle crazy rivals, outlaws, and the great outdoors itself as they race across the Wild West from Los Angeles to New York in steam-powered cars.
Okay, so I just did a quick Google. Just because like you said that they were on a boat from Japan to America.
Yeah.
So let's just say that, so Google says, if you go from Japan by boat to California, it's going to take you 20 to 28 days.
Yep.
Yep.
And is that even talking in modern technology or
Yes.
steam powered?
That's in modern technology.
So what happens is they're drifting for 5 days and they get picked up by another boat.
Yeah.
Which goes faster.
Which
is
goes
good.
much faster, but it still would have took them like 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wild.
Look, this was great. The first 3 episodes are already out. It airs on Fridays at 9:30 at night, and there's going to be 13 episodes total.
I've only seen the first so far, and I am absolutely
So in
hyped.
love.
I
So in
am
love.
ready for the long haul. Strap yourselves in for
This is
one.
another original one. We've got a lot of original ones
Yeah,
this
it's
season.
great.
So definitely check that one out. It's on Anime Lab, Funimation, Wakanim, Hulu, Aniplus, and if you're in Italy, Yamamoto Animation.
One of my favorite things about the main character about this as well is he's got these like really traditional Japanese outfit. He's got like these Ainu markings as well. So really bringing in that traditional Japanese indigenous people, which you
Yeah.
don't ever see.
Yeah, I think the only other
anything.
time we've seen was Golden
Golden
Kamuy.
Kamuy, that's
Yeah.
it. That's the only thing I've ever seen it as well. So that's nice. It's just like a little side
there's
thing.
definitely been a major resurgence in respect and belief in having a look at older
Absolutely.
heritage in
Yeah.
Japan the past decade, which is great.
And yeah, as I said, main character is fun. Appare's fun. He's basically Senku. So
Yeah.
he's good.
He's a back in time Senku, so I want to see the crossover. I know it can never happen, but I
well,
want
it
to see
might happen in manga if they do a manga adaptation. That'd be
true.
incredible. Okay, let's jump on to Diary of Our Days at the Breakwater. Once again, delayed from last season. This is comedy, school, seinen, slice of life. Doga Kobo, of course, back for this. It had 3 episodes released last season. Episode 4 is due out on July 28th.
We kind of thought this was going to be sort of like Euro Camp with fishing. So
And it kind of is.
It is.
It is. It's the series follows Hina Tsuragi, a first-year student who's moved to a town by the sea. While Tsuragi is more of an indoor kid who enjoys things like arts and crafts, she's suddenly thrown into the world of fishing when an older student, Yuki Kurowawa, invites her to be a part of the school's fishing club.
Okay.
her whole thing though is that she
The thing is she's not invited, is she?
no, she's kind of thrust
Blackmailed.
into it
She's
because their club is about to close
the
unless
club's
they
about to
get
close.
one more person.
Oh, no.
What? I've never heard.
Never heard that
of that before. And then there's like a questionable thing where she's got the squid and she's trying to like threaten her with the squid and she doesn't want to touch the squid and she's like, you have to sign the paper or the squid's gonna get you. And
Paper or squid?
you got
Take
a
your
choice.
pick.
And so yeah, little sidebar.
Yeah,
on
and
that.
she hates kind of like creepy crawly, like big wriggly things
Look,
like
if
fish.
you got a squid on your legs, I don't want to touch that either.
I want to
Yep.
give it cuddles.
No.
No.
I will
No.
eat you fried and covered in salt and pepper, but I do not want you anywhere near my skirt. Thank you very much.
Yep, that's fair. Look, you can catch it on Anime Lab, Funimation, Wakanim, and Muse Asia. Muse Asia. What is even that? Muse Asia. If you're in Southeast Asia, it's definitely a good laugh. It
actually
won't
is
be
really good.
it won't be for everyone, but it's definitely good if you're looking for something chill and relaxed and slice of life this season to relax to. And there's already 3 episodes out on those streaming platforms. And as we said, end of this month, episode 4 lands.
And if you like fishing, I don't feel like there's actually not a lot of things about fishing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and
for a
look, it
change.
does. Once again, it's Japan doing us an educate on how to do certain things. So yeah, okay. Millionaire Detective, Balance Unlimited.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yes.
Y'all out there who want that little sprinkle of BL with your anime, we are here with Millionaire Detective because I got real gay vibes from the main 2 when
Oh,
watching
yep.
this.
Yeah, totally.
Wow. So Daisuke Kanabe?
Kanbei?
Yeah, sure.
Kanbei.
Daisuke, a man of extraordinary wealth,
Mm-hmm.
is assigned to the Modern Crime Prevention Headquarters as a detective. It's there that he gets partnered with Haru, a humane detective who values justice above all. Classic. The two are polar opposites, and their morals clash time and time again. Haru despises Daisuke for using monetary wealth to solve cases, and he believes that money isn't everything. Can they stop butting heads and overcome their opposing worldviews for the sake of solving the toughest crime in the precinct? Or are they going to fall in love? That's what I want.
That's what you want.
Lock in B, Eddie.
Well, I'll take B for several $1 million at this point.
Oh, the first episode of this is so
It's
funny.
so good. It
I
definitely
actually recommend
establishes that
trying it.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Look, this only had 2 episodes out before it got delayed. Episode 3 is due on July 31st. And
One of the things I just love about this is every time Kanbei appears, he has his own theme music.
It
Yes.
kind of feels a little bit like Sakamoto Desuka.
Yes,
Where it's
Yeah,
like,
a little bit.
"Du-du-du-du-du-du-du-du."
Like, here I am. It's like, what theme music would you have play in the background when you enter a room?
I'm getting sexy back.
No.
Yep.
No, banned,
No.
banned, absolutely not. No, I want what Daisuke's got. I want some smooth jazz. And he's got like an earpiece where he's talking to, I'm assuming, Alfred, who's like Batman's butler, because he's basically Batman with all of his money.
Yeah, it's an earpiece hidden inside a tiny
his
little
earring.
stud earring.
Which is
Wanker.
just...
Love him. So into him.
Okay, this is by Cloverworks. It's originally from a novel series. Airs on Friday in the morning at 12:55 a.m. So 5 minutes to 1 a.m. on Friday morning. So Thursday night, Friday morning. 11 episodes. Catch it on Anime Lab, Funimation, and Wakanim. All right. Let's talk about what has just kind of been delayed and continued. Certain Scientific Railgun T, so season 3 of a Certain Scientific Railgun. As with all of the Certain series, it is R18 rated because it has a lot of violence. So this one is not for kiddies despite the kiddie look. Mikoto Misaka and her friends prepare for the Daiheise Festival, a 7-day athletic competition between Esper schools. Academy City opens to the public for the event, but with the whole town abuzz, no one notices when trouble stirs behind the scenes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because the cops in this city are useless.
I mean,
We've met two cops from this series, and they're really cool, but they're the only ones who seem to have any form of common sense.
Let's be fair.
To be fair.
They are cops in a city full of people with supernatural magical powers.
Yes. Action sci-fi superpowers, JC stuff, and it's actually one of their ones that they do quite a good job on because it's consistent. And it's also like 7 years after season 2 came out. Everyone's just like, wait, we're getting more? Really?
Yeah, the Railgun series is awesome. So
it really is.
I'm happy for it to continue, but
I'm
yeah,
definitely
it's
happy
a
too.
fair gap between them.
This has been running for over 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
Because it was meant to be 25 episodes, and then due to delays, it started at the beginning of the year, and then we've gotten to here, and we're only up to episode 16.
And then everything changed when the coronavirus attacked.
Yep,
Dun, dun.
exactly. But that's going to be heading back to your screens. Episode 16 lands on July 24th. We'll have another 9 episodes after that, which will take us to the end of the season and hopefully to the end of the story. This is on everything. It's on Crunchyroll, it's on Anime Lab and Funimation, where they have the dub, Annie Plus, and Netflix in some regions as well. I believe Billy's getting the rights as well in China, and then Muse as well. They just keep adding people to this, so definitely good. Basketball. Ahiru no Sora.
Woohoo! It's like
Basketball.
Naruto for sports.
Yeah,
That's how it be. I love sports anime.
It's Lucky Go Ducky. This one we have mentioned pretty much every season in review since it started because it's a 50 episode run.
It keeps going.
This is the last part though.
I'm really excited to watch this. I've been wanting to watch this from the start. I'm huge into sports anime, but I hate watching it week to week because it's the worst.
I know.
It's like everything's always a cliffhanger. It's so hard to watch, so it's better just to smash this out in one go, and I'm really excited to watch this now that it's finally entering its final season.
Now, this is, we've mentioned it before, so we'll quickly go over it. He may be shorter in stature, but Sora Kurumatani got there in the end, can soar and score on the basketball court. With a passion for the sport he inherited from his mother, Sora vows to her that he'll take the top prize at a high school basketball tournament, but there's one problem. His new high school's basketball club has turned into a hangout for delinquents. Will Sora's sheer tenacity and amazing three-point shooting change their minds?
So, like, from what I've seen of it so far, is it's like Haikyuu and Kuroko no Basket, but without the ridiculousness of Kuroko, but with more delinquents, which kind of seems fun. So more kind of like slam dunky, like OG basketball anime. So I'm really keen to watch this.
Oh, what was the sumo one? Like Matsumune Sumo?
Yes.
Yeah, it's similar to that, where it's, the club's been overrun by delinquents again. You can catch it on Crunchyroll and High Dive, which has the sub and dub, and Netflix as well.
Anyone just want to see like an anime which is just sort of like the crossover of all sports animes at a big sporting festival?
Do you mean
or
essentially
Why?
getting a massive crossover for the Olympics?
Hell
Hasn't it done
yes.
this yet? I'd love to see that.
I would love to see that. This airs on Wednesday at 6:25 in the evening. Very family-friendly time with a PG-13 rating. Diomedia behind this one as well, and from a manga too. All right, let's get a little bit romantic here.
Always.
A little bit shoujo, a little bit supernatural. It is time to talk about one of your favourites, isn't it, Lols?
It is. I adore Fruits Basket. It's always been one of my favorite series. Ever since it came out, ever since I read the manga, it's been so close to my heart, and the remake is phenomenal. If you're still sleeping on the remake and you're still not sure, maybe you loved the original, maybe you're a manga fanatic and you don't want to touch an anime, let me assure you that this is fantastic. It's made with the mangakas. She's a part of the production team, and she
pretty
really
much
cares.
demanded them to remake it because she hated the
it.
original.
She hated Studio Dean's original.
Actually, Loz, as you are like a major Fruit Baskets
Yes,
fan,
indeed.
I figure.
So you are a major fruit basket.
You are just a colossal basket of fruit. What was your take on the original anime?
Look, I actually really loved it. I will still say that it holds a special place in my heart, but boy, howdy. If you go back and watch that, it does not hold up.
It
The
did not age
animation,
well.
It didn't really age very well. And it's got that really classic early 2000s, I believe 2001, like the huge eyes and just really sharp, like clamp style angles. Whereas this has got this beautiful, soft, I wouldn't say modern anime feeling, but it's a beautiful animation style that they've brought to the remake, and it's really excellent.
It's sort of a nice mix sort of between like Kyoto Animation and who else?
Like I feel like it's even quite unique. Like you look at it and you're kind of like, oh, this is like every shoujo ever, but then you're like, oh, it feels slightly different.
It
would be definitely at home at either Kyoto Animation or A1 Pictures.
Yeah,
back to
definitely.
life.
Yeah.
That's the one.
But
And it is beautiful.
this
and
is the second
so
season, and we're
exciting.
halfway through it. So we've got another 12 episodes.
Another
to
12
go.
episodes to go. Yeah, so kind of waiting for the rest to come. And if you're kind of waiting for when should I start the remake, now's the absolute time, because we're now heading into new content from the manga that's never been animated before, and it's so exciting to see it all animated.
Go ahead and refresh our memories. What's the story?
Okay, so Toru lives by herself in a tent because her mother has just passed away. And then she realized that she's actually living on the Soma property where Shigure and Yuki live. And Yuki is someone who's at her school in the same year as her, and he's the prince of the school, because of course he is.
He's a pretty boy.
And then also Kyo comes in, and he's the third big main character as well, and he's another one of the Somas. As the story progresses in the first episode, Toru kind of accidentally falls into one of them, and then the other one, and then the third one, and she falls into the three boys in a kind of a hug, and poof, 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 they all turn into animals. And what's going on? Why is this happening? And it turns out that they all have this Soma curse, and the story is about how Toru can help them emotionally, and also just how can she help them break the curse in general. And it's a beautiful, heartfelt series, but also very funny.
Pretty much the whole family turns into animals of the Zodiac.
Yeah, they got the Zodiac curse.
I kind of want to see the reverse of it, a series where a girl discovers that when she hugs boys, they turn into animals. It has nothing to do with them and everything to do with her.
That would be amazing. So this one's done by TMS Entertainment this time instead of Studio Dean,
Rest in peace.
which is definitely a massive improvement. PG-13 because it does have some occasional scary themes to it. Tuesdays, 1:30 a.m. in the morning. So Monday night, Tuesday morning, Japan time. As we know, this is quite typical for Japan. They put a lot of animation in the later night slots. People record it and then watch it the next day. Unless you're a hardcore otaku and stay up all night and watch it and then return to work the next day utterly exhausted.
I think one last thing is, if you're maybe a parent or you know some younger kids or teens that are looking for a recommendation, this is a really good one. And I feel like one of the reasons why I love Fruits Basket so much is I really felt so close to Toru when I was growing up as well, because she just goes through this change as she's becoming into herself as an adult, and how she's learning her place in the world, and through these mental health issues that she goes through as well. And I feel like it's an excellent story for any young kids or teenagers as well. It's really
It
excellent.
does
for that.
kind of have something for everything in that matter. It's got the coming of age stuff, great romance, and supernatural elements which will keep people sort of intrigued.
Yeah, keep them guessing, absolutely.
Now, this you can find on ADN and Wakanim in Europe. Anime Lab and Funimation have the dubs over here, and Crunchyroll as well is on board. So as you can tell, this has got all the big hitters wanting it.
And one final thing, sorry, again,
No.
big fan. If you are a
dare
big
you.
fan of the original anime and you were into dubs back then, the same cast is doing the dub for the remake. So if you're into,
wow.
you're like Laura Bailey, who does Toru, and I love her so much. if you were a big fan of the original dub, they've got the same people back for the new dub, which is also really
Which is
cool.
amazing.
Wait,
Yeah.
Laura Bailey did the... Wow, that is...
She's done a
She's
lot of
done so
amazing,
much.
amazing characters.
It's,
yeah.
and it's
fantastic.
people called Laura. That's what can I say?
Yeah, it's all to do with that. It's definitely all right. Usual suspects time. Let's round it off. So Black Clover is back. Episode 133 airs this week. It's been off the air for 9 weeks.
Yeah, they had a massive delay, so good to have them back on
Especially considering they're a weekly shonen show. It's very unusual. Boruto's hit to episode 155. One Piece and has not stopped there at 931 episodes now. And the all-reigning king, Detective Conan, episode 975.
So close to that 1,000.
Whoa.
So close.
So that is, that's very, very close
They'll
to
hit
1,000.
1,000 by the end of the year.
One Piece is catching up there at 930. That's
It's on its tail.
Well,
less than 50 episodes.
Well, remember, we did a quick bit of maths on this, and that means there's still an entire year of episodes behind them.
Oh, wow.
So they still have a bit of work to catch up, but I think One Piece, they've been discussing the manga coming to an end as well.
Oh my
So-
gosh, end of an era.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a never-ending
finds-
story.
I think we mentioned it a few
Finds the
episodes.
gold, becomes Pirate King. That's the end.
Yeah.
No,
Unless-
now he has to rule the world as the king.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, or is that where they're going to have two pieces? Sort of
No,
like
they
Boruto?
just have they
gosh.
then just have a crossover with Pirates of the Caribbean, and then it just goes berserk.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
Goes berserk. Guts shows up.
No more crossovers.
We've come full circle.
More
Yeah.
crossovers.
That ends our follow up on that. We'll be right back to cover off all the sequels and movies coming out in the coming 3 months.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
That's a lot of anime.
Oh, there's so many.
No, I didn't watch them all. Summer anime.
All right. It's delicious. It's tasty. It's violent. It has swords,
It has...
a railgun. It has fighting. It has romantic comedy snafus and guns and firefighters. There is a lot of sequels this season, and no, that's not one show. That's a variety of shows
you
mixed
had me
together.
for a second.
I was down to whatever show you were talking about.
This sounds like the premiere of everything. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Can we go back and watch that? now?
Can we watch that? All right.
Yeah.
So let's get stuck in quite nice and easily. So Food Wars.
Ew.
Plate 5, which is, if this follows the manga, this is the end. This is the end.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's going to be more of a slow chug through the finish line than a blazing fast one, because they should have ended it at where season 4 ends, but they've got to do this.
I don't
So
know, it feels like this is like this feels like it's going to be a nice big conclusion.
it will be a nice big conclusion, but having read the manga, the final season is definitely not as strong as the...
It should have been
prior
a movie.
season.
I think we can
Yeah.
all agree that end of season 4 felt good. It was a good conclusion. I adore Food Wars, but I would have loved a really shiny, perfectly animated movie instead of a kind of bit more drawn out. But at the same time, of course I'm
more
going to
drama.
watch this. I love Food Wars.
Oh, well, I mean, the good news is it's only 13 episodes. We aren't getting 25.
Yeah.
Which, for some people would be like, oh, but I want more. But no, that's the perfect length.
Short and snappy.
If they said this was 25, I'd be very concerned.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard of Food Wars,
Where have you been?
Where have you been? Please come out from under the rock. So ever since he was a child, 15-year-old Soma Yukihara has worked as the sous chef and the restaurant his father runs and owns. Soma develops a passion for entertaining his customers with his creative, skilled, and daring culinary creations, such as squid tentacles and peanut butter or strawberry jam. No, it's not good, and he purposely tries to make awful things.
I'd try it.
His dream is someday to
That's
own
kind of
his own
exciting.
his family's restaurant as its head chef. His father suddenly decides to close the restaurant and sends him to Tutsuki Culinary Academy, an elite cooking school where only 10% of the students graduate, and it's famous for its shogugeki, or food wars, where students face off in intense, high-stakes cooking showdowns.
I'm still convinced that this is the school that the Iron Chefs graduated
Oh,
from.
definitely.
Absolutely is. Also, can I just you should have said his extremely attractive father
Oh,
suddenly
yeah.
decides,
Here,
this
yummy
is by
daddy.
the way. Oh my
Here,
god.
yummy daddy.
He's got the whole
Amazing.
rugged thing going on.
Also, Soma's he must be 17 now.
Oh,
Because
he's
it's been
gotta
a
be.
while since the
Yeah.
start. And we've been with him for a while through all of his big chef battles that he does.
Some very public, some not so much.
Indeed.
Now, this is the last 13 episodes, unless they're going to shove a movie in there, which is a completely original story, but this should bring it to a nice end, and maybe we'll get an OVA at the end, which covers I think that they did 3 special chapters at the very end of the manga to cover off everything else. 13 episodes, as I said, PG-13. I don't know how it's only PG-13.
That's not true.
It's definitely M. It's shonen,
Surely.
school life, a little bit of eki.
Oh my gosh,
JC
yes.
stuff,
Little
manga
bit.
adaptation. You can catch it on Saturday morning at 12:30 a.m.
I don't think you can call it just a little bit of Eki. They have full-blown foodgasms.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is extremely not PG-13.
It's extremely not PG-13. Let's
But
just say it's
the
M15.
Food looks real good.
And the recipes are all run
all
by
legit.
legitimate chefs.
Yeah, these are like every episode you get a great new recipe. You also just get an eyeful of what the hell.
Yep. You can watch it on ADN in Europe, Annie Plus, and Crunchyroll everywhere else. So definitely check that out. Okay, who wants to tackle like heartache trauma?
I love trauma.
Okay,
I
well, you
love
can talk about ReZero Season 2, and I'm going to leave the room.
Yeah, all
thrillers.
yours.
Look, okay.
Get me a coffee.
I enjoyed ReZero just as much as the next normal person, but I do not believe
So-
that it
so
is
you didn't
the
enjoy it.
end all perfect thing ever. However, I
no.
did enjoy it, and I am actually excited for the sequel. And I know that a lot of people are extremely excited for the sequel of ReZero Starting Life in Another World, for more psychological thriller, weirdly romantic, a lot
Yeah,
lot of
you
fantasy
see,
supernatural isekai.
I do have a question. Did you
Yes.
watch it as it was airing?
I did.
See, I binged it, and do not
Rest in peace.
do that. That's why I didn't enjoy it, because
Yeah.
you end up emotionally scarred after 10 episodes. You're like, I can't do anymore.
I feel like we need a list next to the list of things we're not allowed to say a list of the shows that you must not binge.
Yeah, it's actually probably not a bad idea. We could do an episode on that, shows that are not appropriate for binging.
Do not do this.
And then we'll watch as all of our listeners come into the comments and go, why did you tell me?
Okay, I'll give you a rundown about the basic background about what ReZero is before you go into watching the season 2. So after dying countless times.
Well, this is actually
Spoiler.
kind of the preview. This is a bit spoilerific for season 2.
Yeah.
Essentially, Subaru is reincarnated into another
slime?
world.
Was
No.
he hit by a truck?
Yes, truck and delivery service. Well, actually, we don't know. He dies in a car park, so there's a high chance there was a truck involved.
Could have been truck.
Could have been truck gun.
gun.
So he dies and just wakes up suddenly in this other world where he discovers that if he dies, he starts back at a previous checkpoint, essentially. He meets many people, including Amelia, who is a elvish type girl, who he kind of falls in love with. The story then proceeds to him kind of finding ways to survive each of these sort of mini checkpoint events so that he can then get a save point further ahead in the story. And it keeps recycling through and through and through trauma after trauma.
Yeah, that's the
after-
thing. It's not like he forgets
Yeah.
how he died. It's not like he doesn't feel any pain. In fact, he feels absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, like ReZero, I feel like the first 5 episodes of ReZero were so good. It was so interesting the way that they started the death loop and really showed you how it happens, and it feels very video game-esque, but it felt really, really good, and it was so exciting. And then the end of season 1 wasn't so great. But hopefully season 2 is going to be awesome, and I'm so excited.
So White Fox once again on board. R18, very hard R18
Yeah,
on
lots
this
of
one, just so
violence.
you're aware. This is part 1 of season 2. They're doing a split season for this just because of what's happened. It's been a long time in the works, and I'm sure the fandom's going to be very happy to see more of this and go through even more emotional heartache. You can catch it everywhere. So Crunchyroll, Animax, Asia, Annie Plus, and Bilibili. Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. at night. And good luck.
There'll be more of Best Girl, Rem, and that's all the fans want, let's be honest.
Yeah, about that. Have you seen the OVA?
Ooh.
Yeah. We'll talk about that after this. I'm going to make you very sad.
No, I have seen it.
Okay, that also brings us to the end of an era. Sword Art Online Alicization
Oh,
Part
giant F.
4.
Wow.
Action, adventure, fantasy, game, romance. Don't know what Sword Art Online is? Go back to one of our earlier episodes. We have a full rundown on Sword Art Online. But essentially, Kirito, our main character, is once again trapped in a video game world.
How?
Yeah.
How?
This is his life.
Stop playing games.
Yeah.
Kirito,
Yeah.
stop doing it.
Yeah.
He's going to end up in another anime one of these days where they're just going to be tackling board games. And he's just going to I've seen some things. I'm only doing board games from now
So
on.
it's Jumanji the anime.
God.
Oh,
Sword
God.
Art Online, board game, Jumanji. I'm actually into this.
I'm actually on that. Yeah, I would love to see Sword Art Online Jumanji edition, and it's just like he's like, this looks safe, and they get sucked into Jumanji. It's like, oh come on.
Not again.
Not even board games are safe. I'm going to stick to card games from now on.
So
Yugi?
Sword Art Online is its 11th year now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, since the manga and light novel series started. This arc, Sword Art Online Alicization, doubles the length of the existing content. It was the most important arc in the light novel series, and everything that comes after it is based off it. So it's very critical. PG-13 definitely should be higher. I'd say I think Japan's PG rating is definitely a lot lighter than ours.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that myself.
A1 Pictures, who have been with it from the beginning, thanks to Sony. 11 episodes to get us to the end. You can catch it on Anime Lab, Funimation, Wakanim, Crunchyroll, Bilibili, Hulu, High Dive, and others.
Usual suspects.
Yeah, pretty much usual suspects. Yeah, it's Saturday midnight it airs, so Saturday nights. Yeah, if you've been following it, this is everything you've been waiting for. It's almost done. It's almost over. Quick mentions. So if you've been watching any martial arts anime such as Baki, which is on Netflix, season 2 of that is about to land this season. It's very good martial arts, very, very muscular men animation style. And if you like watching martial arts where there's been a lot of focus on animating things correctly, you'll enjoy this. My teen romantic comedy Snafu, season 3, the big finale is coming. No Gun's Life, so Gun Dad is back for season 2.
He has a gun for a head.
He's got a
He
gun
has
for
a
a head.
gun for a head, and as we
he's ready.
said, this is why we watch
here.
anime.
That is a
And
man's head.
Fire Force Inen Shono is back for its second season. Let's be honest, Fire Force is not bad, but it's also not mind-blowingly amazing. I quite enjoy it, but it's a bit like Soul Eater as well. Once you've watched it, you don't feel that desire to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, it's not got a great kind of a rewatch value, but I'm glad I saw it.
We disagree with that. Soul Eater is excellent.
Oh, I'm not saying Soul
But
Eater's
no, I
bad,
agree.
but you know what I mean.
Fire Force isn't
Once you
huge on
kind
me.
of know the story, the mystery is
I'm
kind
done.
of taken
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is prime example, Promised Neverland. Going back and rewatching Promised Neverland, knowing where it's heading, kind
Yeah.
of takes away some of the.
It's not as exciting
The
anymore.
dread and the shock.
Yeah, exactly. A few notable OVAs we do have to mention. Reincarnated as a Slime's 4th OVA lands July 8, Crunchyroll,
So
as in it just landed a few days ago.
Yes, I need to watch
Goblin Slayer, Goblin's Crown, which has the most awful preview video I've ever seen, lands on July 29th, and I think that's going on Funimation's website. I'll have to double check
Go in the
that.
trash.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to. I don't mind Goblin Slayer. I think it's kind of interesting because it's all based off the guy's D&D campaign. That's how he wrote it.
Yeah.
Which is look. Don't get me wrong.
I'd like that guy to turn on his location so I can just have a talk.
Yeah, he's got some issues. He's got some serious issues. But for those who are into that, good for you. Dora Hetero's OVAs, the first set of 6 OVAs are landing in the Blu-ray box sets. These OVAs are only 5 to 10 minutes though, so don't expect a massive extension to the story. I think they're actually planning a second season, but they haven't had official approval because
Watch this space. We'll be the first to tell you.
And the final Pokemon Twilight Wings has just landed.
Oh no.
Yep, so that's episode 7 on YouTube. You can catch that
so
now.
cute.
I mean, I'm glad that another one's out, but to say it's the final one,
I know.
really
I want these to
seven's
continue
sad.
forever.
Oh, I know, and it's a fantastic
They're
one.
so beautiful.
It's actually kind of interesting because that takes us on to the movies that we need to talk about, and A Whisker Away, which is being done by Studio Colorido, who are also the studio behind Pokemon Twilight Wings.
We were going to hit this up and then
segue.
extraneous circumstances kind of...
Yeah, well, we are going to talk about A Whisker Away in the next 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
Because this is something that needs to be looked at. It's a Netflix one, and it's out now.
Oh, good.
But Studio Colorido did Penguin Highway as well.
Ooh,
a few years back,
very
which was
good.
very pretty, very nice.
That was, I think I saw the trailer for that only recently, and
Mhm.
yeah, that looked weird.
Yeah, and amazing.
Penguin Highway is awesome.
Yeah.
Whisker looks beautiful.
It does.
If
It's
you like
such a-
cats,
If you like cats,
you'll
which-
be into this.
You like
which I do.
cats?
Do you like cats?
I
I
like
like
cats.
cats. Mio Muge Sasaki is a second-year junior high student who has fallen in love with her classmate Kento Hinode. Muge pursues Kento every day, but he takes no notice of her. Upon discovering a magic mask which transforms her into a cat, Muge is able to get closer to Kento as a cat. But the mask might eventually stop her from returning to human form if she's not careful, and thus the danger begins.
Drama.
It's a romance. It's cute. It's a bit of a slice of life. The stakes aren't overly high other than being stuck as a cat. And that's out on Netflix right now. So you should definitely check it out if you're interested. And we'll be doing our review of it in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it.
And next up, The Given movie.
I'm so excited. Given was so good.
It really
Again,
was.
like your BL movie for this season. And if you watched Given or really like music anime or you want another BL romance, this is a really sweet watch. It's a really quick watch. I think it was only 12 episodes or
Yep.
so. And this is a movie that is kind of a sequel to the series as well. So just a quick kind of background. Basically, we have our main character, Ritsuka, and his high school classmate, Mafuyu. And Mafuyu has a very sad background and basically finds himself through the relationship with his new boyfriend, Ritsuka, and the band that he becomes part of. And they all have these different problems that they go through and how they work through these issues together with them. There's a few little love triangles here and there, and it is really sweet. It's not
Yeah.
hugely focused on the music, so if you go in there looking for a music anime, I would say it's not mainly that.
This isn't a Hibiki Euphonium style show.
No, but it is more for the drama
For someone going in sort of entry level to like music and garage band kind of things, though, this does teach you a few things.
Yeah, like they do. Like he teaches him the guitar, and there's a lot of behind the scenes about how they produce their music and backstage and stuff like that as well. So it does have a little bit, but it's not like your Beck level of like music anime.
Yeah, this is more focused on the relationship between the two main
and like
characters.
the drama with past relationships and such like that as well. But it is very, very sweet, and I'm excited to see where the movie is going to take us.
It was originally due out in May, but it focuses on the band's bassist and drummer and the little love triangle going on there as well.
Yeah.
So it looks really lovely, and once again, beautifully animated by Studio Lurch. So I think it's meant to be out August 21st now is the rough date for Japan for their cinemas, but we'll find out obviously as we get close to that date as to whether it's a go.
I'm sure we probably won't get it for a while if it's out in Japan cinemas too. So yeah,
But yeah,
while on that one.
keep that one in mind. And that brings us to something I think everyone on the podcast team is quite excited to see.
Oh, this is something special. Lupin the Third, the First.
The first.
The first CG entry in Lupin the Third, talking about the first Lupin.
And it looks so good.
We haven't really stopped talking about this, you and I don't think, Kenny.
I don't think we will until we see it, and then even then we're probably just going to be gushing about how epic it is.
Lupin episode, Lupin episode, Lupin episode.
We've already done a Lupin episode.
But I wasn't there.
Well, we'll have to just do another Lupin episode and look at Lupin films.
I think you're just going to have to join us for the film.
What a shame.
Big movie night. Okay, so the film story, which centers on Lupin teaming up with a woman named Letitia to steal the Breslin Diary, a treasure that even the first generation Arsine Lupin could not steal.
Which is
Dun, dun,
why
dun.
it's called The First. G-Kids will be organising the Western release of this, which will likely be as soon as cinemas can open in the US, because they've got the rights for it and they've all signed up for it, and it's apparently it's pretty much done. So that's good news. This is out now in Japan on Blu-ray. So
seriously?
I know, right? We haven't even had it in the cinemas. It's already out in Blu-ray in Japan.
I mean, that means you could probably just get it on Japanese Amazon then.
Do
I guess.
Japanese Blu-rays have English subtitles?
No, they do
No.
not. But I'm sure someone will have the subtitles, and if you wanted to transcode it and put it in a folder, you definitely could.
It's happening.
It runs for an hour and a half, so it's by no means a short stint. This is a proper full Lupin film, and it's going to be amazing. The music's going to be great. It's the usual action, adventure, comedy, mystery. Sign it.
Hit up the
It's
trailer for this.
Just
It
hit
looks
up.
so good.
Yeah, the CG looks really good. And I know that sometimes when you hear the word CG with your anime, you don't want those to mix. But honestly, some new CG stuff coming out recently has been really good. Like with the new Ghibli movie, looks quite good.
Yeah.
And, like the Dragon Quest movie and stuff like that as well. Like, Yeah,
And
give
it says,
CG
it
a
actually
chance.
says, give CG a chance. It actually says a lot that Monkey Punch, before he passed away, had pretty much signed off on it, saying how excited he was with what they'd done with it.
That's really nice to hear.
And, you know, he was pretty much it's kind of funny, Monkey Punch's relationship with Lupin, because he created this character in the mangas and then just kind of was the supervisor for all of the anime. He wasn't even the writer for most of the anime, which is crazy to think of.
My work here is done.
Yeah, it's like, I've created something epic for you. Now go, my children. Make it even more epic. Couple of things we do need to quickly cover off. Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel 3 Spring Song
You
is...
mean Fate Stay Night, author of the great big volume of manga?
Yes.
Okay.
We've actually now got an expert on Fate.
We have a Fate man.
We have a Fate
We
man.
have a lore master?
We have a
Finally,
lore master.
someone to unravel
Aaron,
the
I
mystery.
hope you tuned in, because you are now aware that your title is Fate Lore Master.
Please help us, Aaron. You're our only hope.
Only
So,
hope.
Grand Order's first film has been pushed back, but Fate Stay Night's third and final Heaven's Feel theme is finally heading to Japanese cinemas. That's landing there, I think, this week. So that'll finally hit there, and that's apparently a pretty important story arc for that franchise. So
Very much so.
we'll find out more from Aaron about that at some point, because we're going to have to do a deep dive with him so we can figure out how this Fate franchise works, because Kenny and I have not been able to figure it out.
Yeah, it looks so big and so complicated. You wonder, where the heck do I dive in?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
No one knows.
Nobody knows, because
Do
it's
you
a,
even
it's a,
know?
it's
I
a-
don't know.
It's a
Don't
looping
know.
thing.
I've tried to Fate so many times, and every time I just don't know.
How do I face?
There's Boku no Hero Academia, the movie 2 Heroes Rising. That Blu-ray release is due this month as
Yes,
well,
the My Hero Academia movie. We were going to go out and see that.
which has
course.
just returned to cinemas in Australia this week as
Oh.
well. So we'll see if we can find a way to go and catch that as well.
Yes.
But fortunately, that brings us to the end of the list of
You mean
things.
unfortunately?
No, fortunately, because we're already way over time.
How does this keep happening?
Well, it's because there's always so much. But this time, at least, we're only over by half the show.
Wait a second.
So we've got to wrap up here. We'll be back in a moment.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Yes, that's where we need to leave things for this episode. Thanks so much for joining us. Next episode, we're going to torment our new hosts.
Wait, that's me. What?
Yes, we're going to take a look at Death Note,
Oh, I love Death Note.
the
Like 2005?
Netflix live-action version.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll be trying out a new way to bring you our reactions to, so stay tuned. It's going to be very interesting. Oh, poor Loz. She doesn't know what she's walked into. Neither does Aaron. Neither does Farah. These people will be introduced to you.
We like to make things interesting with this. We have things called enforced viewings where we pick things to make people watch.
Well, we can. So, look, if you have got this far, make sure you like and subscribe to get our latest episodes. We'd love to have you on board.
And don't forget to head over to our Instagram and our Facebook pages for breaking anime news and videos.
You've been listening to Kawaii-Fi Radio. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, watch some anime!